Now, recently there was a nonsense video put out by a right-wing group trying to kill Planned Parenthood, saying, oh my God, Planned Parenthood sells body parts from discarded fetuses. Now, the New York Times described that as, quote, a shady video and said, quote, it shows nothing illegal. The reality is what they were doing is instead of discarding the fetuses, they were actually giving them to science. And in the meanwhile, you got to get a transportation fee. Otherwise, the costs pile up on Planned Parenthood. In fact, once we saw the non-doctored video, when they showed the full video, we saw that the person, Dr. Deborah Nagatola from Planned Parenthood, had said in the tape, the part they cut out, quote, affiliates are not looking to make money by doing this. That is very clear. So the whole thing is a sham. Now, before this video even came out, what the Republicans wanted to do was they wanted to defund Planned Parenthood anyway. They already had proposed taking out $3 million from Planned Parenthood. After the video comes out, they feign outrage, like, oh my God, I can't believe what Planned Parenthood is up to. So you know what Rand Paul wants to do now? He wants to cut $500 million from Planned Parenthood. This guy who claims to be a libertarian, isn't this so convenient? I'm a libertarian when I want to smoke pot and not pay my taxes. Oh, you want to control your own body, the things that are inside you. Can you imagine anything more private than that? No, I want the government to get inside your body and control it instead. Libertarian my ass. So what's his rationale for this? He says, I think the time is now to discuss whether taxpayer dollars should be going to such a gruesome procedure. People are outraged by this, and I think the American people deserve to have a vote on it. So let's break down that lie. There is no money that goes to that procedure. Okay, he's not telling the truth there. The reality is Planned Parenthood receives about $500 million a year, so he would actually decimate their budget. He would kill the budget entirely from the federal government to pay for health care services. Long-standing U.S. law prohibits any federal funding for abortion. It already prohibits it. So this is a lie by Rand Paul to try to kill Planned Parenthood entirely. Now, is Planned Parenthood mainly in the business of doing abortions? No. Abortions comprise 3% of Planned Parenthood's health services, according to the organization's website, and that has been independently verified. But he wants to kill 97% of the other services as well. What do? They help poor women and middle-class women get things like contraception, breast cancer screenings. Oh, there's going to be a lot more breast cancer. There's going to be a lot more sick women in the country because Rand Paul robbed them of $500 million to pay off his rich friends with lower tax cuts. And he's a libertarian and there is no war on women. My ass, there is a war on women. And it's led by guys like Rand Paul. He knows that money doesn't go for abortion. He knows it's a tiny sliver of Planned Parenthood's services. He doesn't care. He wants to strip away all of it while pretending to be a libertarian. By the way, about 40% of the nonprofit's funding comes from government sources, including Medicaid-managed care plans. That means that if you take away 40% of their budget, they're out of business. There is no Planned Parenthood. They shut them down all across the country. That's exactly what Rand Paul and his Republican buddies want, and that would be a war on women, and it has nothing to do with libertarian principles. It's based on demagoguery and lies. So in this case, that's exactly what Rand Paul stands for.